Alright, so here we have it, the comparison of the century. CRF 150F and CRF 150 RB. We got the big wheel to the right, 150 RB. They do sell a 150R, it's just a small wheel version for younger kids, smaller kids. Yeah, this is a stock comparison. No, we do have parts on here, like the FMF pipe, but this is how we want to be stock. This is how we want to show it stock. So we want to show you guys how they're going to be stock. So I'm just going to tell you how they are. So we got a single cylinder, both are single cylinder, 150cc engines. Hey, you might ask if you're not into bikes, they're both 150s, both same cc. Wouldn't that be different power? No, it's not. What you got here is called a high output. It's got a unicam in it, single cam here, 4 valves. It's a high output motor. It's got more power, it's got more pep. It's water cooled. So it's just adding on to the power here. This is a race bike. This is what you're gonna race against the 85s, and they got KX100 out there now. If you don't feel like dealing with the 2-stroke stuff, then you buy this when you're going for 85s. One thing I'm noticing right here, chain a little bit loose, but don't bash us in the comments for that. So one thing you might ask here, what is the biggest difference between these bikes? Besides that, one's made for trail and one is made for racing at the motocross track. The two major differences is suspension and the way they're cooled. You got liquid cooled here, what we're showing, CRF 150 RB, and you got air cooled over there with air fins. And then suspension is race suspension, Showa forks. I'm pretty sure Showa shock, that's how they come stock, we didn't change it at all. Gas shock in the back, and you got a normal shock in the back in the 150F. So now let's talk about this bike here. So this bike, particularly the 150 RB, comes with a 18 rear wheel, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure, I didn't look it up before, I'm just going off my memory. I'm not sure about the front, but I know the 150R is 2 inches smaller in the back, wheel size, so that's going to bring it down to a 16-inch rear wheel. So it's going to add about 2 inches difference on the bikes here. So one thing you do have here on this bike is guillotine carb, a little bit of electronic action going there, a little bit of sensors here. You got gas on and off, no reserve. Race bike, don't need reserve. Got your choke here and your idle here, twisty idle. Gas line, this is a carb, this is not fuel injected. One thing to point out on this motor, just from my mind here, is it's got separate oil containers, or not containers, sections I like to call it. You got your transmission oil, I like to put in different oil than the motor, and then you got the motor oil. So they're both separate, so your motor oil stays clean, and then your transmission will eventually wear out. And if we come up close here, speaking of oil, you got your oil filter that goes right in here, much like the 250s and 450s of this time. The 150F, the other one, does not have an oil filter. So one thing that comes stock here, we did not change this bike at all except for graphics and controls up here, is you got your stock, not skid plates, but side guards, motor guards. They stick out, they're plastic, already cracked, not too good. On the other side as well, same thing. And then over here, you got Trail Tech kickstand. I recommend this kickstand if you're going for them a lot. This does not come stock. Usually out of the dealer, they give you a little triangle that goes right here. We put this on here because we're not really racing motocross at all. We're just riding around in the back and going for trail rides, so this is a very good addition to the bike. If we come over to the other side, you got your gas shock here. It's kickstart, no electric start. You got your throttle body here. Everything's built tough. You got gaskets on everything, no water going in. You got your coolant lines here. And then take a look at this muffler here. This is what you would call a 450 muffler there. This thing sounds rad. It is a oversized muffler for this bike, but that is stock, folks. That is stock. So you come around over here, and the bike has disc brakes front and rear here. 150F, the other bike has drum brakes in the back. So you got way better brakes in the back, better for the track. Yeah, just smaller than the 250, I like to say. It's just a small 250. Same motor build. A lot of things are different and a lot of things are similar to the 250s, but it's basically the same. So high output motor, unicam. That's about it. Everything else is normal here. I do not know about the gas tank. I don't know what it holds, but it gets about 45 minutes of runtime if you're really running hard at the track. About half an hour here. This is not stock what you see here. This is an ASV purchase here. Pro Taper grips and Pro Taper bars. All Hondas come with rentals, I'm pretty sure, so you get a rental bar stock. And take a look at this triple clamp here. This is a stock triple clamp. Look at that. That is basically a bar riser, which you would get on your pit bike. So it sets the mood for the bike. It feels a lot different, but that's how they are. I like it personally. So we're running out of daylight here. Let's move on to the other bike. So first thing that I like to point out to people is the suspension. So in the front forks, you got the normal forks, not the upside down like the 150 RB. You got normal springier forks. They're more springy, they're more softer for trails. And you got a normal shock in the back, non-gas. This is a little bit funnier. I thought you'd like to see this. I call this the pogo stick right now because it is blown up. But normally it's not like that, people. Normally it's not like that. It's just blown out from riding and abusing it to where we shouldn't. What I like to do with my bikes is I like to change the controls right away. It makes me feel at home on the bike. So this is all not stock here. So going to the motor here. Breakaway levers. Going to the motor. It's a very different motor. You got your coolant fins here, your air fins. No radiators, no water, coolant, nothing to deal with like that. You got your Keenan carb here. This is not a guillotine carb. This is a, I forget the term, but it is a round slide carb. Accelerator pump, nothing electric, no electric sensors, nothing. It's just an easy all-around bike to work with. You got your dipstick back here. It's just one side oil, so all the oil goes in every part of the motor. Unlike that, it's two different sides, transmission and motor oil. So, yeah, this bike is basically stock except for FMS slip-on and a couple things up there, grips and levers and stuff. So you got your spark plug here, easy to access, very easy to access, reliable bike, easy to work on. Personally, I like working on this bike better. You got your valve adjustment here, little valve caps there. You got bigger tank here. You're gonna get about 3 hours to 4 hours of runtime on this bike. Not because the gas tank is that much bigger. It's just a bike that doesn't consume as much fuel. It's a smaller carburetor. Not electric start. This is still kickstart here. Another thing I point out about this bike is the drums in the back. The brake drums here. You got one drum in the back and then disc brake in the front. These brakes suck. They're not good at all. That's the one downside that Honda did. It just keeps the bike cheap. No hydraulic brake here. Yeah. So stock comes with a skid plate down there, plastic skid plate, nothing too special. Yeah, cameraman showing. So yeah. Okay, so I want to do a little first gear comparison here. I'm gonna ride both bikes in first gear. I'm not gonna shift or anything like that. I just want to show you guys how this one is, the one on the left, 150F, is more of a tractor bike. It's got tractor gears, just idle around, chug around, and you got your race bike on the right. So I'm gonna ride the 150F first and first.
This is first gear on the 150F.
can't really do much in first, but that's about it. Here, low first gear. It's got a big gear in the back, big rear sprocket gear. It just chugs right along here. About to fall over. I'll hold it up here. Yeah, it just chugs right along, it idles. I can't really go fast, but I just want to show you guys the difference between these bikes and how much of a difference the motors are. You'll see when I ride the 150 RB how much different the first gears are. I did a little bit of hill climbing here. You can do a little log jumping here, log jumping, and yeah, it's just an all-around good trail bike. Okay, so we got warming up here. About to jump on and ride it first. Coming from a guy who runs 250s and 450s, I'm gonna say that this bike is powerful. You're running about 25 horsepower here, and compared to the 150F, it's about 13. That's stock, but with that from that we got on it, maybe 15. So not a real nice comparison here. So I'm gonna jump on.
First gear on the CRF 150 RB. Okay, so there you have it. I did not shift out of first. This bike did idle around a little bit on first. I was not expecting that, but it didn't really want to do it. When I got on the gas, it just stalled right out. So, more or less a tractor gear compared to my 250, which will not even do that with the clutch. So, that's pretty cool. Yeah. It's just a solid all-around race bike, and if you're looking to race those 85s and kick their asses, this is the bike.